Joining us now is Dr. Dilshad Dayani. She is the president and founder of the World Women Global Council based here in North Texas. So, Dr. Dilshad, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Glad to have you. So tell us, first of all, about the Global Council. This is an organization primarily of women, and you touch on a lot of issues related to women.
Yes. The World Women Global Council is a kind of a creation for the past 19 years of women's initiative work that I did globally, nationally, and also locally. And one thing I would like to correct, that this institution, we would like to involve men to be spokesperson for women leadership, and that is something that I've always opted to do. And so it's advocacy and project-based initiatives. So it caters to both sides of the deal. And basically what we do is that from the advocacy standpoint, we create debates and dialogues through events, seminars, workshops with corporates, academia.
So raising awareness about a lot of issues.
Absolutely.
And one of the most important issues has to do with pay or income inequality between men and women who are working the same roles, but there's still a big gap.
Yes.
And we know it's an issue globally, but also even here, still in the United States. Why is this still a problem here, do you think?
It is very sad that we have this problem in the United States, because you would be very shocked to hear the numbers. We rank 67th on the Global Gender Report, just below Yemen.
67th?
67th.
Wow.
And this has been dropping for the past 2 years, because I think we have a big fat blank when it comes to maternity leave, paternity, and shared absence leave, and all those.
When you say dropping, do you mean the U.S. is getting worse?
Yes,
We're
U.S.
getting
is
worse.
We're getting worse in
We're
this.
paying women worse in this country, not better.
Not better. And I think it has a lot to do with what do we want. I personally don't see it as a battle of sexes. It is more about family. It is more about how do we empower as a nation to the families that we serve. And in return, I think it would increase our productivity, it would increase our GDP and everything economically that we are striving for as a nation. And if we are not paying attention to these systems and to the women workforce and how we develop the structure, I think we would be at a greater loss than we are at this time.
What are the incentives for a company to work toward income parity or equity in pay? Why would a company want to pay? It sounds silly to ask, but really a company does have benefits if they pay equally, right?
I would ask, why wouldn't a company don't pay equal?
Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think it is more when women have settled for less. They have not negotiated the same fair play that needs to be at the table. And plus, women take off from work. So
From maternity.
From maternity. And that's a choice they make. And when they make this choice, they are kind of satisfied. And I tell women, even if they don't want, they say, it's okay, we don't get paid as much as men. And in many cases, I tell them, take the money that you're worth for and give it away. But take this money,
take it.
because you are setting a kind of a premise for the next generation. And this is not fair. So basically, as we make the choices, and for this Fair Act, Fair Wage Act, Fair Pay Act, that has been since 1963. So it's not something new that we are talking about. It's not a new concept. I think we are reclaiming what we lost in all these years, and basically it was more about a compliance issue and procedure.
Right.
The act was there, but it was not followed through. So for now, what is happening is that they are putting a grant for women and girls to negotiate equal pay. They are also using...
This is in legislature that's underway now?
Absolutely.
So what people can do is contact their state lawmakers or legislators about supporting this kind of bill.
Yes, and also the important point, as you mentioned about the companies, that there would be a kind of a system and procedure in place where you can ask about other people's pay and to the Human Resource Department. Initially, you could not do that. You could not discuss pay.
You could say, what does this position pay?
Yes.
Whether it's a male or female.
Yes.
fulfilling.
and
Yeah.
that would give them the kind of resource that they need to compare and advocate for their.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Dilshad, thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
in. Thank you. It's a huge issue, and we just kind of scratched the surface here.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more to be said.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up next on the Texas Daily, the Supreme Court makes a decision on the challenges to several state gun laws. We'll have that story coming up next. Stay here.